Not only is our next guest the Lehman College student studying to receive her degree in mass communication, she is also the Miss Democratic Republic of Congo, who will be leaving to Washington in the hopes of becoming Miss Africa USA. One of the platforms that she is most passionate about is working with the Georges Malaika Foundation to empower young African girls through education. We welcome now to open Miss Assanatti Gama.
Yeah.
I said it, I almost messed it up twice, but
It
I got
was
it right.
perfect at the end.
I know, I just kept rolling with it. Congratulations, first of all.
Thank you very much.
You got a busy schedule because now you got school and you've got pageantry going on.
Yes, it's a lot to handle, but I guess that's what you have to do if you want to do pageant and school at the same time. But I'm doing it. It's fine for now. I'm receiving a lot of help. So.
Well, talk to us about the pageant first of all, because obviously you're representing Miss Democratic, Republic of Congo.
Yes.
You're the winner there. Talk about that process first of all in becoming the winner there.
Yes, well, I was in France this summer and I was working in a hotel, and a friend of mine came and he was like, since you're living in the US, there is this pageant that they're organizing, and if one of your parents was born in Africa, then you can compete in it. And the pageant is called Miss Africa USA, but first you have to go through the process of being selected for your own country. So I applied and I was in France and they told me, well, you have to interview to be selected for your country. And I said, I cannot come back now, I'm only going to come back in September. And they said, yes, well, we can do for an interview. And I had to do a video to introduce myself. And they said that even though they couldn't meet with me in person, and even though I had to send a video and just do a fun interview, I was the best of all the contestants. So that's how I was chosen.
Well, what do you feel made the difference when you sent your video?
I don't know. I think I was very funny. It doesn't look like it, but I think I was funny and I was trying to be entertaining and not just... it's really hard to talk about education and helping Africa, because when we talk about this subject, people just feel overwhelmed and they don't see where to start because we have so many issues in so many countries. And I think you have to bring a lot of fun and a lot of hope in it. And if you have this little bright eyes, then they're going to see that you really believe in what you're doing. So.
It is a really big uphill battle, especially when you talk about education in Africa. The fact of lack of resources, lack
Definitely.
of sufficient teachers, the things that students go through. Well, for somebody who may not be so familiar with the educational system in Africa, why don't you take the time to just share with us a little bit about what's going on over there?
Of course. For my country, the Democratic Republic of Congo, I will start saying that the education system is really good. Like any Congolese student that will go from Congo to another country, like my parents did, will succeed. The big issue in Africa is with the equipment. We don't have the equipment. The Kinshasa University doesn't have a good library. We don't have enough books. So the students are not really able to have good, they don't have good resources to do their job. So that's the big issues. For the education system, they're not trying to change it. The foundation I work with, the Georges Malaika Foundation, they just opened a school in Lumumbashi, it's in Congo, and they're not changing the system, they're just trying to bring money so that they can have more books, more supplies, they're trying to just give as much as they can as an equipment matter, more than just the education system.
So when you talk about equipment is a big issue.
Yes.
Some things are being reached to students and some things are not being reached to students. Talk about your work with the foundation.
So the foundation, basically, it's a non-profit foundation. So all the people working it's a foundation that was created by Noela Kusaris, and she was a model, and she's Congolese, she was born in Congo. She created this foundation because she thought that she had to give back. She was born in Congo, but she had to leave to Switzerland to do her studies, so she thought that she had to give back to her motherland. That's how she created the association in 2007. And basically, the foundation doesn't pay anybody in the US, they just pay locals in Africa. So anybody that works here, like me, is a volunteer. And we all work in our own different field. For instance, Tori Birch, who's a New Yorker designer, she just donated the uniform for the little girls. And for me, for instance, since my field is communication, I do press release for them. I do the profiles of the little student that we're trying to sponsor. And everybody is trying to work in their own field. When they have communication company working with them, then they're trying to provide with funds and all this equipment for school, because we need funds. We need to be able to reach with the parents and anything that you will think when you think about an American school, but you don't think for an African school.
So the next thing you do is from here you go on to Washington. Talk about what's going to happen in Washington.
So in Washington, there's going to be the pageant Miss Africa USA, which is a pageant that is in its 6th year. It was created in Georgia. It was created 6 years ago in Georgia by Lady Kate Njuma, and she's Cameroonese. She's from Cameroon. She created this because she thought that it was a good idea to show the African women their culture, their beauty, and to just present that to the American society. So when you go to these pageants, you are competing with 30 other girls representing a different country of Africa, and basically what is happening is that you want to become Miss Africa USA to be the goodwill ambassador of Africa in the US.
So what do you think is going to make the difference for you compared to some of these other people that you're going to be competing up against?
I hope my accent will make the difference. I hope they'll be able to understand what I'm saying, because when I get stressed, I tend to not really be understandable. So I hope that will work. And also, I think the fact that I'm really involved in it, I'm a cosmopolitan. That's how I like to define myself. I was born in France. I studied in London and in New York, and I met so many different people, and to all of them, I like to share my Congolese background, because when people meet me, they hear my French accent, and then they learn that I was born in France and I'm studying in New York, and they don't think that I'm African. So that's what I want to share with them, and I think that will make a big difference.
A lot of trouble going on over in Congo right now, and concerns. And we talked a little bit before we got on the show about the election process and things that are going on. From the latest that you know over there, what's going on?
From what I know, I don't want to be too political, especially because I'm a journalist to be. But but what I will say is that we have a big issue in Congo, which is that we are a really unstable country. And unfortunately, even if we are considered as a democratic country, we cannot really say that our elections are going to be really democratic. People right now already know who's going to be elected. We don't want to believe in it. We want to believe that there's going to be change, and we want to believe, and I'm not saying that what Kabila is doing is bad. I'm just saying that people are waiting for change. But at the same time, I think they kind of lost hope, and I believe that the youth is the one to bring hope. But for the youth to bring hope, they have to be educated. So we are here to help them.
And you talk about youth and being involved in the process. We look across, we see the Arab Spring, we see a lot of, youth uprising and things like that. Talk about the youth over there and people who are maybe college students your age and things like that. Talk about what are their goals and objectives these days?
Well, we have a huge Congolese diaspora. Last week, 2 weeks ago actually, was Congo in Harlem, which is a film festival that was taking place in Harlem for Congolese movie makers, young Congolese movie makers. And I think it was a good opportunity for them to talk about how they want to change Congo. They talked about a lot of different issues. First of all, they said that our main issues were our borders, because in Congo, we have a war in each of our borders. So it's not really in Congo itself that we are in wars, but we are being attacked by a lot of different countries. So they talk about how the youth should try to negotiate with other countries, and especially the diaspora youth should try to talk, with the other young African people that you meet when you're abroad. For me, for instance, I have nothing against any Rwandese when I'm in here, and I don't think that any Rwandese person has anything against me. So try to negotiate and see how we can help our country, and how we can make those young warriors in Africa understand that there's nothing to be mad about.
Isn't it something though that, like, on this side of the border, things are kind of cool. Like you said, the Rwandese, you can get along here.
Yeah.
But if you go on the other side, it's left and right.
But I think it's really a lack of education. Like, they don't really have anything against each other, except the wars that have been brought to them because of the weapon sellers. So, I mean, those are kids who start to be kid soldier when they are like between 10 to 13. So they don't really realize what they're doing, and I don't think they're really educated. And when you don't know who's on the other side of the borders, it's really easy to just go and fight and think that it's the enemy. So that's why I think that we have to start with educating them about Africa, and not only about how to make money or how to succeed in economy in Wall Street, so that they can just leave Africa as soon as they're 18 and come in the US to study.
Well, let's talk about this. We're going to assume that you're going to win. After you win, what are your plans?
So after I win, my first plan is to go back to Congo. Well, I'm supposed to go anyway, because otherwise my cousin who's getting married is going to kill me. But yes, go back to Congo, visit the new school that the Georges Malaika Foundation opened. bring supplies there. I'd like to have an event to thank all the people that supported me, and of course raise money to bring to the school. I'd like to do supply raising at school here at Lehman, because I know that the semester is going to end, and I know that a lot of people are just throwing their books. And when you've just used like half of the pages, you don't think about it, but it could really help those students that don't even have a book. So all those things could help, and it's really important to be involved in it. And I'm trying to just get everybody to be involved. There is so many ways you can check on their website of the Georges Malaika Foundation. There are so many ways to help them, and it's not even expensive. Like, you can sponsor a young girl in the school for €2.50 a day. And with that, she can have a uniform, she can have books, and she can have access to education and a meal for each segment of the day. So that's really nothing.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming and sharing a little bit about it. And, best wishes to you, because you go off next week to Washington.
Yes, next week, Thursday, 10th of November.
You got to come back and let us know. Now, if you win, you got to come back.
Of
Even
course.
if you don't, you still got to come back and let us know.
With the big crown.
With the big crown. All right, then. Thank you so much,
Thank
Assanatti.
you.
Thank